Good morning. Man, it was really hard to push that button this morning. Um, Sometimes I get really nervous doing this, and I don't always want to be honest. But um, I wanted to share a little bit this morning about something that happened. And hey, Shane, that happened not only this morning, but something that I have found to be just one of the coolest things about being a Christ follower. So I don't know if all of you know, but we've been through some interesting. It's been an interesting summer and fall and winter, and things got super exciting over Christmas. Just a couple days before Christmas, my husband, along with a bunch of other people from his company, were laid off, and he had just joined that company, so it was one of those, we were already in transition and trying to catch up, and then we had to play catch up again. And God's always provided, and praise God. Chris got another job that is fantastic, but it's those catch up seasons that can be a little bit challenging. And so this morning, um, I okay, so to be really honest, the last couple of days I've been really emotional, and I've been kind of blue and really struggling with my faith, and kind of feeling like, um, how you kind of feel like you're getting ahead and then you go behind and ahead and behind, and just trying to really hear God's will for my life and what I'm supposed to be doing as well, like supporting my family. And the decisions that we've made for our kids' education require me to be mostly home. And my life kind of revolves around all the other people except for my own heart's desires. And so it's just been kind of a season. And yesterday I was talking with a really good friend of mine, and she was praying for me. I actually sent out several help, I need prayer requests to my friends yesterday. And when I went into the grocery store this morning, I have become friends with one of the checkers, and she's delightful. And we started doing a Bible study together, and now we're friends. And she walked up to me and she asked me how I was doing, and what's going on, because I had asked her to just be praying for our family and for peace and wisdom for me. And she looked at me and she said, well, God told me to buy your groceries today. And this is what I want to talk to you about. So the joy of obedience. Um, I think that sometimes we can miss the opportunity to see God working because we don't recognize the times that it's actually Him. And it would be so easy to say no to her out of pride. And okay, I actually did say no initially, but the look on her face, I recognize it as the look that I get when God tells me to do something for somebody else. And there is so much joy in not only receiving, because honestly, I sat in the car and I just started to cry. And I looked over at the radio and the sound was off, but it said, "Be strong." And I don't know what that song is. I didn't turn the radio back, but I instantly started to weep, because I realized that God has been listening. But not only in that act of obedience of saying yes to someone and setting aside my pride, she gets to be blessed because God used her. And I think sometimes God sends people and they're an answer to our prayer, but we say no, or we don't really recognize it as God. And conversely, we don't always step out in faith to do and say the things that we are supposed to do. So I'm going to share a story that I don't know if all of you have heard it. I feel like a lot of you have, but several years ago, I had the opportunity to step out. There was a young woman at the gas station pumping gas on the other side of the pump, and I was having one of my mom days. I was in sweatpants or yoga pants and a ponytail, and I felt really frumpy. And there was this very attractive early 20s young woman on the other side of the pump, and God said, I need you to pray for her, and go pray for her. And I was like, don't really feel like doing that. And she went inside. I started to drive away because it took her too long to come back out. And honestly, I just really didn't want to. I felt super awkward. And then I saw in the rearview mirror that she was coming back out. So I pulled around and I walked up to her and I said, this may sound so strange, but God I really feel like God is telling me that I need to pray for you. And she started to cry. And she was going through a season of crisis. She was driving to rehab. She was going to be away from her family for a year. And she had just prayed, God, if you are real, give me a sign. Sorry. So I as I prayed for her, I just thought, how many times do we hear these really soft little voices in our heads and our hearts, and we just don't act on it? I know there have been times when literally I have heard God say, go say hello to that person, or tell this person that I love them, or give your favorite earrings. I was in the hospital once, and I really heard that I was supposed to give my earrings. They were diamond earrings to this young girl. She was probably like 12 years old. And I did it. I was just like, and can I just be honest with you that I ended up, somebody gave me a beautiful pair of earrings in response. And I thought, it was funny because she was talking about how she had lost her favorite earrings. And God cares about those little tiny things. I think that's what I'm saying is it's so exciting to be not only obedient in receiving, but obedient in the giving. Hi, you guys. Thank you for joining me. Um, when I shared today what had happened this morning at the grocery store, I also blessed my girlfriend who had been praying for me, because she said, you know what? She said, honestly, I really just wanted to alleviate that little stress, trying to get over the hump until next week's payday, right? Like we've all been there. And she said, but I couldn't help you. So I just really prayed that God would meet your need, and in a practical way. And so by me being obedient in receiving, by my friend being obedient in giving, we also both blessed a third friend, because she needed to know that her prayers had value. And so I wanted to encourage all of you today that whatever you're feeling, like a stirring on your heart, like suddenly you feel like, gee, I feel like somebody's feeling sad, I'm going to just pray for them. Or somebody comes to mind, and you send them a quick text message. I can't tell you how many times God has said to encourage someone, and I'll send them a text and they're like, oh my gosh, I was just needing that so badly. And on the other side of that, I've also been the recipient. My pastor texted me last week, and she encouraged me so much because I was just feeling challenged, and like sometimes this life is a little hard. It's hard to choose joy. It's hard to choose to do the right things. It's hard when people are unkind to be kind back. And so lately I've been really blessed by the opportunity to see in really practical financial ways and relationship pieces that God is in all the things. And when we choose to be obedient and choose to look for those things and choose to step out in faith, we're always blessed when we give to other people. We are always blessed when we reach out. And so I just want to encourage you, if you are feeling something, a stirring, if you're feeling like God's not paying attention, sometimes the greatest way that we're able to hear him and recognize that he's working in our lives is when we choose to step out and reach out and bless somebody else in their life. I know that in my darkest seasons, I've chosen to continue serving at my church. And I think that it was in the serving that I was able to continue to keep my eyes on God and on other people, and not only to give me a break from my own issues, but it helped me to recognize that we're all in this together and everybody has stuff. And so I just want to encourage you today to go out and just be obedient. I mean, not even necessarily looking for, I know I've prayed and asked for opportunities to bless other people, but sometimes just being willing to get quiet. And when you hear those really tiny little voices in your head or in your heart, being willing to just be obedient and step out and see where God takes you. So anyway, be blessed today. It is awfully yucky and rainy outside, so I'm going to light some candles and spend a little time with Jesus and telling him thank you. But I will be praying for all of you. And as always, again, every single time I say this, I get really cool inbox messages. So I really will be spending time praying this afternoon. So if you are in need of some prayer, if you're in need of some encouragement, I would love it if you'd send me a private message, and I would love to join you in believing for God to move in your life too. So be blessed and have a fantastic day.